China and Japan are facing off. It's been more than a month now. They've been locked in a tense standoff, and now the dispute has escalated. It has spilled into the high seas. The latest episode played out today in the East China Sea. It was near a cluster of disputed islands. Japan calls them the Senkaku Islands. China calls them Diaoyu. Now, both countries take claim to this group of islands. Today, a Japanese fishing vessel was operating in this area. 2 Chinese Coast Guard ships moved in. Tokyo says they crossed into Japanese waters and tried to confront the Japanese fishing boat. So Japan's Coast Guard responded immediately. It intercepted the Chinese vessels and escorted them out of the area. Now, look at the region where it happened. This is where the military face-off took place. The Senkakus are a group of islands. No civilian population lives there, but they have been at the center of a long-running dispute. Because, like I said, China claims these islands too. Beijing calls them the Diaoyu Islands. But why does China want these islands? Why do they matter? Because of their location. These islands sit close to major shipping lanes. They offer rich fishing grounds, and the waters around them are considered valuable. Experts believe that they hold oil and gas reserves, and that is why China sends Coast Guard ships to these waters. It's a way to project power and to remind Tokyo that Beijing won't give up its claim. And how has China responded to this morning's events? Unsurprisingly, they have blamed Japan. Beijing says it was Japan that provoked the Chinese Coast Guard.
The current situation in China-Japan relations is entirely caused by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's erroneous remarks over Taiwan. Japan should abide by its political commitments to China, retract its erroneous remarks, and reflect and correct with concrete actions. Any external force that dares to interfere in Taiwan-related matters will be met with resolute countermeasures. The DPP authorities harbor malicious intentions, which are contemptible. Their attempts to seek independence by relying on foreign forces are doomed to fail.
This is a clear military escalation, and it's happening at a time when Japan-China ties are spiraling. We've been telling you about this. Last month, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi gave a statement in her parliament. She said if China attacked Taiwan, Japan will take military action.
If China were to deploy battleships and involve the use of force, I believe this could be deemed a situation threatening Japan's survival.
China was furious by that statement. It said Prime Minister Takaichi must take her words back. But she has refused to do so. An angry Beijing then launched a diplomatic offensive. It issued a travel advisory against Japan. It told Chinese citizens to avoid traveling to Japan. It told Chinese airlines to avoid flying to Japan. Tens of thousands of people canceled their tickets. This has hit Japan's tourism sector. So far, more than 900 flights have been cancelled. Reports say China has asked its airlines to extend these cuts. They could last until March next year. China also took the matter to the United Nations. It lodged a formal protest against Japan, and then Xi Jinping took it to Donald Trump's doorstep. Last month, he had a phone call. Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Donald Trump, they spoke on the phone. And that's when Xi brought up this spat with Japan. Now, it's not clear what he told Donald Trump, but we can tell you what followed. Right after speaking to Xi, Trump dialed Tokyo. He spoke to Prime Minister Takaichi. Reports say he asked the Japanese leader to avoid further escalation with China. But Prime Minister Takaichi has not backed down. She has shown no signs of yielding to Chinese pressure. And it's proving to be quite good for her ratings. Her tough stand on Taiwan has won her a lot of support at home. Her approval ratings have touched a high of 75%. So in a way, China's diplomatic campaign has backfired. It was aimed to soften Japan's stand on Taiwan, but it has achieved the opposite, which is why China seems to be raising the stakes now. It is deploying its military to make a point. Last week, it issued a warning to Tokyo.
The People's Liberation Army has powerful capabilities and reliable means to defeat any invading enemy. If the Japanese side dares to cross the line even half a step and bring trouble upon itself, it will inevitably pay a painful price.
The tensions are spilling over from diplomatic spats to military encounters, and Taiwan believes it will only get worse. Taiwan's foreign minister has spoken. His name is Lin Chia-lung. He says it could take up to a year for the situation to stabilize. That means China will keep exerting pressure, and there will be more flashpoints. This is a dangerous trend. So far, Japan has held its ground. It has pushed back against Chinese pressure. But now with Beijing resorting to military tactics, it's a test of how far Tokyo is willing to go.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.